Welcome to Community Corner. Welcome to Community Corner. I'm Ryan Nicholas Gray.
Hello, welcome to Community Corner. My name is Aaron County Castle.
I'm the Community Corner. I'm your host, DeWitt.
Today we welcome our guest, Mr. Troy Butler, who's well known to all of us as our friend. He has spoken at various advocacy conferences, self-determination. He has spoken at various conferences and workshops. He provides a positive role model to others, and his expertise provides a positive role for his others' appearances. He shows purpose and a strong work ethic. He is a kind parent, share a positive and enthusiastic. Please welcome Troy Butler. Good afternoon, Mr. Butler.
Thank you, fellas, for having me. I am honored to be here today.
Thank you. Troy, we love hearing about people growing up. So could you please tell us about your family growing up?
I am the youngest of three boys. My older brothers, the first was born in 1957. My second brother, Bill, was born in January of 59, and I was born in 1957. I am the third, 1967, excuse me. I am the third child born to my loving mom and my late father on May 28th, 1967 in Medicine Heights, Michigan.
All right.
Tell us about your early years in school.
My early years in school were spent, my first 3 years were spent at Easter Seals Society in Waterford, Michigan. My mother and my aunts took me for speech and language development 3 days a week, and also physical and occupational therapy. After Easter Seals, I then transferred to a Pohai classroom for kindergartners at Harrington Hills in elementary in Pontiac, Michigan. I was then given the greatest opportunity of my life from 1st through 6th grade to be transferred to Roosevelt Elementary School in Hazel Park, and that program was the greatest gift of my life, in that our teachers there allowed us to expand and broaden our horizons. I was first mainstreamed for social studies and math and what they call the second and third year of elementary school. My teacher, the late Ann Naparko, was very influential in shaping who I am today. She made sure we did everything. In fact, I think we even did more than our parents did in elementary school because we were always going and doing, and Mrs. Naparko was so dear. She even took us all over everywhere. In the summer, we went to Camp Dearborn, and we had a well-rounded education in her class. Fast forward to 1980, I was forced, because of what they call age appropriate, to transfer against Mrs. Naparko's better judgment and my mom's dismay. I was forced to transfer to Churchill Junior High, and that was in the fall of 1981. where I continued to be mainstreamed for social studies and English, but I was self-contained for the rest.
Okay.
What were the main challenges in school settings?
In school settings, there weren't really any challenges for me because I was able to appropriately socialize. In junior high, I made friends and I did everything. My mother made sure I was at every school dance, everything I could be. And in my 8th grade year, we did not go to 8th grade camp because my mother told the 8th grade class and the principal that if there was 8th grade camp, I was going, and there was no way that they could stop me. So consequently, we got gypped that year. We could either go to a day trip to Point Pelee or be taken to Greenfield Village overnight. And I chose the second option because no way was I going to miss spending the night at Dearborn Inn and enjoying my time at Greenfield Village.
Cool.
Troy,
Yes.
when you were growing up, you ever driven to school? Or did you take a school bus?
I took a school bus. Funny you should ask that. My mother says that she aimed her bus for 29 years, and the pleasure was all hers to drive because she was able to work around my school schedules and things of that nature, because anytime I had surgeries or what have you, her supervisors at the time were very understanding of my needs and appointments that I had to go to and whatever.
Wow, Troy, that's a very, very touching story. Aaron?
Yeah. How did you complete school assignments?
Well, that was also very easy in that I had again the support of my mother and a very, very loving former school teacher for the Madison Heights School District, the late Helen Hennessy, who would help me with my homework on Thursdays. And she would come and Mom would make dinner while we did my homework. In fact, I never missed an assignment, and my mainstream teachers were amazed at that fact. They said that I had done better than most of the quote-unquote normal students because everything was turned in correctly, and if it wasn't to their liking, I redid it until I was able to complete it to their the assignments to their satisfaction.
That is very good.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What accommodations were provided?
Oh, yeah.
Well, in 7th and 8th grade, I went to class with a parapro. Her name was Mrs. Edie Brown. She was just my hands. Whatever answers I gave, right or wrong. She just wrote them down exactly the way I said them. She didn't correct them, didn't handhold, nothing. She was just my writer and my hands, my working hands, as I like to say.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Now, Troy, were your parents involved needed to provide on the way? Your parents help you with your homework? They take you to school every day? What kinds of things do they do for you?
My mother and my aunts did everything for me. There was not a thing that I have ever wanted for. Nothing. My needs have been provided by my mom and of course first and foremost the Lord. He is the reason that I fly and I survive.
Cool.
That is a powerful statement. Gentlemen, you can learn something from this gentleman. You can learn something from him.
That's awesome.
And it's very touching. Very touching.
And I might add, can't isn't in my vocabulary. Can't is a word that people say when they don't feel like doing something. But I must add something here.
Yes?
When I was younger, my mom doesn't remember this statement, but I sure do. Every time she set out to have me do something and I said I couldn't do it, she said, "You will do this if it kills me."
Oh, she said that?
Yes.
Now, you know, when I was in school, I was in school for about a couple months, and I was bullied a lot. People bullied me, made things that were so rude and nasty. So, were you ever bullied in school?
No, because I was able to stick up for myself and tell them, this wheelchair or my disability does not define who I am, and I will take this one-man show on the road with the support of my loving family and friends. And I have a very loving and supportive church family. I attend Faith Apostolic Church of Troy. And I get a lot of help and natural supports going to church on Sunday. In fact, my mom goes to a different church because when we did go to Troy Baptist, now Woodside Bible, my mom would be known as, oh, this is Troy's mom. Now she's known as herself. But it didn't bother my mom, but as I got older, I needed the setting of a smaller church where I am very active now.
Excellent.
Cool.
Aaron?
How did you spend your time when not in school?
Well, funny you guys should ask, because when I'm not on the road as an advocate for Macomb Oakland Regional Center, better known as MORC,
Mark.
I can be found at home on my computer or just relaxing in my wheelchair and working with my loving service dog, who is my constant companion and friend. I also volunteer for Paws with a Cause when they need me. We go out and we demonstrate. In fact, our first demonstration was done at the Troy Public Library on April 19th.
Wow.
Cool.
Can you cite specific highlights or major issues through high school?
Well, I have to tell you,
Okay.
and we can all laugh about this one.
Okay, I'm ready.
Because when our group of parents came in, there were 12 of us who went over from Churchill Junior High to Kimball and Royal Oak. Well, the special education supervisor at the time, her name was Mrs. Ludwig. And little did she know, our parents were very strong advocates, and they were not going to take no for an answer. In fact, we drove her so crazy that I overheard her talking to a counselor, and I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
They were at lunch back in their offices, and I had just come back from lunch. And she said, "Ruth, I've got to retire because these parents will not back down. And all I like to do for their math assignments is give them a recipe, and they can do their math that way. And Troy Butler's mother actually wants him in a different math book. She does not want him typing his math. Can you believe this?"
Yeah.
I've never motivated me that way.
Yes.
Oh, that's just crazy.
And from that day on, I'll never forget, on May the 5th of 1984 at 1 p.m., she announced her retirement because she was exhausted from our group of parents. Now, mind you, we had heard of mainstreaming, and I told her when she was about to retire, I said, "Oh, by the way, Mrs. Ludwig, my mother was on the group that passed out petitions for mandatory special education." She rolled her eyes and said, "Really? Now I must get out of here."
Okay, that makes my day.
That makes me laugh.
They made your day?
Back to questions. Yes. So, how and when did you decide to go to college?
Well, that was interesting too,
Uh-oh.
because again, Mrs. Ludwig believed that I was going to fail. And when I made my schedule out for junior year, my mom said, "Okay, you want to go to college? You can pick your classes." And I said, "Mom, Mrs. Ludwig will think I will fail." Sure enough, when I took that schedule in to be finalized, it was my first year of being fully mainstreamed. And the year before, in fact, this was the May before, she called my mother so fast it made your head spin. She said, "You know, Mrs. Butler, Troy is going to fail. You're setting him up for failure." She said, "So let him try it." And I am here to tell you, boys, that I did a lot better than she thought I would. In fact, I went from getting C's and D's because I didn't type my math, mind you. Typing my math was the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, one of the teachers was in the other office, and she says, "Come with me." And I'll never forget this as long as I live. These were her words, not mine. She said, "You are coming with me. We will get this stuff done." But she used another word, which I will not use for TV.
Uh-oh.
She said, "We will get this stuff done." I did it. She put it in her hand and said, "Move him to my caseload for junior year, because you are not doing him a service. You are doing him a disservice." And Mrs. Ludwig was so mad that day. She didn't speak to me the rest of the day. But
Really?
Really?
yes.
Yeah.
But that was the best day of my
Oh.
life,
Yes, clap for that item.
because I was free at last. Free at last.
That
was good.
is a positive statement right there.
Exactly. That was very cool.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Awesome, Troy.
Were you in any clubs or scouting?
Yes, I was one of the first disabled troops in Michigan. I was in one of the first disabled troops in Michigan. Our den mother was the late Mary Reitz, and our scoutmaster was the late Alex Rybecki. And we had such a good time. One year we cooked raccoon on our camp out, and another year we cooked possum.
Excuse me. Did I just say the word raccoon
Raccoon?
and possum? That is so bizarre.
Yes, we did, and believe me, when your parents tell you something tastes like chicken,
Yeah.
that didn't taste like chicken.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it to my staff.
It tasted like something something
Roadkill.
Roadkill, yeah.
You know, I can't believe it. That is the most disgusting thing I ever heard you say, Troy. Raccoon and possum? Are you crazy?
No, I'm
No.
only telling you the truth.
Yeah. So I guess you didn't like it.
No, it wasn't my favorite, but I was one of the boys, and I had my mom put a whole bunch of mustard on it and ate it that way, so I could survive.
Great.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Thank you. What supports have you had through your growing and needs for equipment changes to assist your growth?
Well, I've had 5 wheelchairs from Vincent's. This being my 5th one has been my worst one, because I was told by a salesman when I received, my mother was told by a salesman when I received the chair, and mind you boys, we had gotten the first 4 wheelchairs from him without any problem. And he walked in because I was having some pain and looked right at my mother and said, "Troy has been in a wheelchair so long, he doesn't deserve to be comfortable." And I was in such shock. My mother was in such shock, when in reality my mother wanted to sock him, but but she couldn't.
So would I.
Yeah.
Head.
Yeah, but it's the kind of people like that you just pray for and say, God bless them, hope they don't do that to another poor soul.
That's right.
That is a good way of looking at it.
That's it. Troy, so how did you feel about your weakness in various schools classes? Because think about it. Someone may say you have strengths in one area or weaknesses in another area. So what did your teachers feel that you had being strengths and weaknesses when you were in school?
Actually, my mainstream teachers didn't point out my weaknesses. They only pointed out my strengths. Okay. That was up to the teacher I had for special ed for the first 2 years, to always, in high school, to always point out my weaknesses. I never had teachers after she retired point out my weaknesses, only my strengths.
That's good.
All right, David.
I will hop into two fast questions. Are you available to speak at conferences or individual events as invited? Is there a fee?
Yes, I am available to speak, and you can call me on my cell phone, but I do speaking engagements only a couple a month because I need to take care of my physical health as well. And I can't burn out the 2 staff that I have. Well, actually 3. I have Carla, my main one, my mom, and Finley, my dog. Those are the 3 best staff in the world.
Well, I'd like to close right now, Troy. Right. Today we have learned wonderful information about a friend who has faced a life of challenges and has surpassed expectations. He has shown academic strength and desire and has learned degrees that attest to his abilities. His stated goal is to gain as much independence as possible and to speak clearly to his various needs. We deeply appreciate hearing your information. Thanks for being our guest, Troy.
Yes, Troy. I'm Ryan Nicholas Gray.
Thanks for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Ryan Nicholas Gray.
My name is Enrichment Castle.
And I'm DeWitt. Thank you for watching ONTV, CNTV, and YouTube.com.
See you. This is
Ciao.
show 1. Bye-bye.